You didn't just stumble upon this video by accident, did you? It's time to admit it to yourself. You've fallen prey to the lure of cheap dopamine. But what exactly is cheap dopamine? Why does it lead to burnout? How can you get the good, not so cheap kind of dopamine? And overall, how can you feel better knowing this secret about how the brain works? Today, we're going to dive into all of that. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. What are neurotransmitters exactly? They're chemicals that transmit impulses from one neuron to another. In our brain, there are nearly 100 billion neurons, and they communicate endlessly with each other through these chemical substances, neurotransmitters. Dopamine is one of them. It has a variety of functions, but we're interested in its key aspect for this topic. Dopamine as a motivational factor, something that drives us into activity. Some folks think of dopamine like a reward. Monkey solved the puzzle. Monkey got a banana. But in reality, the peak dopamine release happens when the monkey is about to solve the puzzle, not after. So, dopamine isn't the reward itself. It's what motivates us to seek the reward. It's that feeling when you're just around the corner from the finish line, or when the pieces of a puzzle are about to come together to form a complete picture. Does this make it clearer how it all works? So what is cheap dopamine? Dopamine is constantly produced by our brain, but in specific amounts. We need a large reserve and high concentration of it to tackle serious tasks, like embarking on a complex work project, studying, or reading and contemplating a book. However, it's much easier to spend this dopamine than to accumulate it. This brings us to the main problem: cheap dopamine. Every time you open Instagram to check a friend's new story, every time you see a shocking photo with a celebrity, every minute spent on YouTube or the orange YouTube, every swipe on Tinder, every short video on TikTok, every moment in a video game, every meme, every megabyte of the endless stream of content slowly and methodically saps your dopamine, swipe by swipe, until you find yourself at the bottom of a dopamine pit. Cheap dopamine is actually the foundation of procrastination, the first step towards depression. That feeling of exhaustion after scrolling through TikTok, social media, watching endless content, the lack of energy and motivation, apathy. Some people write these feelings off as just being lazy, lacking talent, or being less fortunate than others. They continue to deplete their remaining dopamine resources on mindless scrolling just to escape. Now here's a serious question for you. Do you realize that you're a hostage to cheap dopamine? Think you're not? Doubtful? It's actually very easy to check. Isolate yourself from all sources of cheap dopamine. Put away your phone, turn off your computer and TV. I'm not asking you to do this for long. To understand everything, you don't need weeks or even days. Just one evening, and you'll either realize your problem and take control or continue to wastefully spend your life. Once you've set aside all devices, pay close attention to your thoughts and desires. The point isn't just to last one evening without cheap dopamine, but to feel the dependence on it. Feel how your brain craves the quick fix of short and vivid videos, how intolerable it becomes to do mundane chores without breaking them up with a quick dopamine hit from your smartphone. It's essential to understand that what's at stake isn't just another session of scrolling through memes before bed. It's your life. whether you can achieve something, the nature of your relationships, and whether you'll feel joy in life. By squandering cheap dopamine, you're biologically depriving yourself of one of the most effective mechanisms of motivation, a resource that directly stimulates your desire to work, learn, grow, and achieve your goals.
Check it.
Say it louder! I'm upset!
Just honestly admit to yourself, I am wasting my life. You might be wondering now, what can I do with this? Understand that reaching for your phone the moment you have a free minute has become a habit. You unlock your screen first, and then think about what to do, which app to open. You don't have a specific goal. You don't open TikTok or Instagram to find out something special. You just feel uncomfortable without your next dose of quick dopamine, so you reflexively start scrolling through your feed without any purpose. Each time this happens, just ask yourself, do I really need this? Now that you know what's at stake, do you really want to spend your time this way? Is this truly what you desire? I'm not saying you should run away from technology. In our era, that's almost impossible, and it's likely to do more harm than good. But you need to learn to live with it. Make technology work for you. Be a boon while it destroys others. It's okay to watch videos from your favorite YouTuber. It's okay to spend time playing an interesting game. It's okay to read the news and share memes with friends. But before you pick up your phone, ask yourself, why am I unlocking it? What do I want to achieve? Clearly define your purpose. If your goal is to watch a favorite show, why not watch it? But after you're done, don't get sucked into mindless scrolling in search of cheap dopamine. Allocate specific time for it and stay conscious. You are what you consume. This doesn't mean that you should only read intellectual books, watch only scientific shows, and isolate yourself from everything that brings joy. Watching entertainment content is fine, but it should be done mindfully. By consciously consuming any content, you become more conscious yourself. Fighting procrastination is difficult, no doubt, but fighting cheap dopamine is much more difficult. Nowadays, it's a real challenge, but by accepting this challenge, you can gain control of a tool that leaves some behind while propelling others to new heights.